Will Cody get his groove back? Will Roman get his shoes back? Will Drew get back in time for the show? These are our predictions for WWE SummerSlam 2025. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Yes, I am Jason C. McLean, and I'm joined once again by Mike Gwilliam, but we don't see you. I think you were you in like a hardcore match, a TLC match, and I think you were taken out of action. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, I got put through like 5 tables. It was a pretty nasty injury, honestly. So I'm on the recovery right now, injured reserve. So unfortunately, not able to see me. I'm all scarred up, but I will be here with my voice to guide you through these predictions.
Yeah, we don't want to. I mean, honestly, like if you're all scarred up, that wouldn't be very PG if we show you with like a bloodied face or anything. But
it won't be monetized,
Yeah, exactly. This is YouTube. That's right. Forget about like the on Netflix you can get away with that stuff. Not on YouTube. Okay. By the way, recording this on the 30th of July 2025. It's a Wednesday, so we've both seen everything up until now. This is a 2-night SummerSlam. I'm very excited, honestly. I think this might be better than Mania. I actually thought Evolution was better than Mania, so looking very, very much forward to this. Are you looking forward to SummerSlam?
Very much so. Night 2, night 1, not as much, but I think that night 2 is one of the most stacked cards we've seen like all year.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. But although night 1, I honestly am more interested in the main event of night 1. But let's go through those cards. Okay, we have a match added pretty recently. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Sammy's your boy. You take it away.
Oh, Sammy's my boy. Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing another one of my shirts, but I have a Sammy t-shirt. I predict Sammy's going to win. I mean, this is kind of like their trilogy of matches. One was on what was that? Night of Champions. One was on Raw. And I mean, I'm glad they're doing 3 matches out of it. I think Sammy's going to take this one. I don't think it's going to bury Kross, though. I think maybe somehow Kross is going to get involved in something else coming out of this, or maybe he's not going to give it up and somebody else is going to attack him. This is to give him precedence. Also, this is only Sammy's second SummerSlam. He had been on the one last year where he lost the IC title. Believe it or not, was his first SummerSlam. He had never done a SummerSlam until he had already main evented WrestleMania. But yeah, I think Sammy's going to win, and he's going to sort of, I guess, put Kross in his place, and he's going to keep going, and he's hopefully going to win a world championship this year.
I think Sammy might win. I think he's kind of in a weird position right now. I don't think WWE really knows like where to really take him. I think a win for Kross obviously helps him a bit more than it does for Sammy. But if he does like is going to be looking at a world title at some point. Maybe continue that feud with Kevin Owens. Potentially WrestleMania, something like that down the line. Either way, I don't think this makes or break either guy. I think Kross probably could use it a bit more. I'm going to go with him just on that basis alone.
Okay, moving along on the card. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Put on my old glasses. Okay, we have, let's go with this one next. For the women's tag team championships, the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus the Allies of Convenience, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I'll let you go first on this one.
I think I'm just going to go with Charlotte Flair and Alexa. I don't really mind this one either way. I think it's just going to be a good match. I think that maybe you can do something more with Charlotte and Alexa going forward after that. Judgment Day winning could be good too. Honestly, either way, I think it works. So I'm not really too bothered by either one really in this regard. But there is possibly something else you could do with Charlotte and Alexa going forward, Yeah.
Well, originally when before SummerSlam, after Evolution, I was like, if they're either going to enter SummerSlam as tag champs or fighting each other. But I think that Charlotte got over so well. She's now a babyface, like at Evolution, that was, and the fact that people really like her and Alexa together. I was thinking Judgment Day were going to retain, and I think they might win it back, but I'm predicting Charlotte and Alexa are going to win the titles, if only to set up their eventual breakup, and an interesting story there. And maybe they'll lose the titles back to Judgment Day, but I think at SummerSlam, I think they almost have to win the titles. So I'm picking the Allies of Convenience, Charlotte and Alexa. This one's going to be intense. This is the most classic wrestling blood feud that you could possibly imagine. Nothing gimmicky about this at all. We have on one hand Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Okay, this doesn't bug me. Like, I mean, it's a cheesy celebrity match, but like, okay, unless they get involved in the main event like Travis Scott did, and they take 20 minutes to walk to the ring, I think this is good celebrity involvement. I'm 100% sure this match is going to end with Jelly Roll pinning Logan Paul, but I think it's still going to be a fun match to watch. What about you?
I think if the Miz ends up taking Drew's place, then I think Miz will probably take the pinfall over Logan Paul. We don't know exactly what Drew's situation will be. WWE is apparently confident that he'll be able to make SummerSlam.
Yeah,
having some sort of like passport issue or something.
Well,
I don't see Orton getting pinned. I don't think Drew would be pinned either. It's really, I think Logan will be the one to take the pin in this situation right now, unless it is the Miz taking his place, because he volunteered for it.
Yeah, he volunteered, but honestly, I'm pretty sure that with the situation with the passport, from what I understand, is Drew quickly flew to England for a wedding, but he brought his UK passport. He didn't bring his US passport, so he couldn't get back, even though they knew who he was. So somebody from WWE was sent to his house to get his US passport. Supposedly has already flown it to England to give it to Drew so Drew can come back.
Oh, he's fine. He should be fine.
Yeah. I think it's also a little fun little thing how he blamed it on Jelly Roll. But yeah, that it's kind of obvious who's going to win. But I don't mind celebrity matches like this; they're fun. I'll just make sure I'm not missing anything here. So the next match on the card is okay. Which one do I call next? Yeah, for the WWE Women's Championship. The champion Tiffany Stratton versus challenger Jade Cargill. Now, this one, wait, are you going first for this one, or am I going first for this one?
I'll go first, and I'll say I think Jade, because I think you can look a bit forward maybe to Crown Jewel, and I think Jade versus this be spoilers for night 2, but I think Jade versus Rhea might be like the match you want to do there for champion versus champion. So that's why personally I feel like Jade might be the one to go with it in that one. But also I will say, just as another note, I'm not the biggest fan of how it's called with like WWE Women's Championship and then Women's World Championship. I think they could probably do something just to differentiate the names a little bit more in that regard.
Well, at least it's better than naming them after the shows and then having them switch shows, which I mean, the Raw's back. They do the same. Well, I guess with the men's, it's like there's World Heavyweight Champion and there's Undisputed WWE Champion. But I guess that's just because Roman Reigns had both belts and he wasn't going to lose. They had to create another one. Okay, so you're picking Jade. I think actually even Jade versus Naomi would be an interesting Crown Jewel match. But I'm also picking Jade. But even though honestly I was more interested in this match when Naomi still had the Money in the Bank briefcase, because there was the whole thinking of I was sure Jade was going to win and then Naomi was going to cash in. They've been booking Tiffany really strong. But I think that's just so that when she ultimately does lose it, which I think she is at SummerSlam, she's still strong and can go back to go for a different championship or something. So, yeah, I'm also picking Jade Cargill to win this championship. How long she holds it, I'm not sure, but I'm also picking Jade. We have Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Okay, I'll start with this one. I did you see the bit on Raw where Bronson Reed stole Roman's shoes?
No, I actually didn't.
You missed that. There's some weird shoe thing happening on Raw. Like Lyra Valkyria had her Becky stompers, and then Bronson Reed stole Roman's shoes. Obviously, they were really down. I'm wondering that we might get some maybe The Rock showing up against Roman. That could be interesting. That's the only way I see Roman and Jay losing. I think Roman and Jay are going to win. Bronson Reed is going to take the pin because they are ultimately going to set up Roman. Or I think they're ultimately going to lead to the singles match, Roman versus Breaker, but that might actually be a WrestleMania match. But for this match, I'm picking Roman and Jay.
See, I think for Rock coming out, there was a time where it looked like potentially this match was going to be the main event of night one, and people were suspecting like, hey, maybe The Rock comes out or something like that for something if it was the main event. I don't know if you have that happen. If this isn't the main event for The Rock, I think maybe you could have another member join this faction, something like that. I don't know. Be interesting if like Jimmy somehow joined the faction, and you create sort of a rift between Jay and Jimmy again. But yeah, I do think Roman and Jay are pretty clearly going to be getting this one if there's nothing wild that happens, some sort of interference.
Yeah, well, we'll know by the arrangement if for some reason we're starting off with Punk and Gunther, and this becomes the last match. I'm like, okay, fine, The Rock's coming, something crazy is going to happen. Roman's losing, but if it sticks to the card as I understand it to be, yeah, I'm definitely thinking, barring that, yeah, Roman and Jay. So then we have our main event of night one. Now this is a very interesting match. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship. The champion Gunther defends against CM Punk.
So this was originally planned WrestleMania match. I don't know if you saw Untold yet, but
I've seen some of it. Yeah. There was I think it's great with the writers' room. They're all saying, I want Punk for the Rumble to win the Rumble, and then somehow they pivoted to Jay. I guess they just didn't want to be predictable, but yeah, you're right. So this definitely would be a Mania main event, but I guess they want to make SummerSlam really big, so it's a SummerSlam main event. Who do you have in this one? And you have a surprise cash in because Seth's not really injured,
right? The cash-in would be interesting. Obviously, you would continue that Punk stuff. I don't know if that's a work. I think that's what everyone kind of has been wondering all this time. I think Punk getting the win would be, I think, the better decision. I don't necessarily know what more you can really do with Gunther right now. He's kind of in a weird place right now in the company where, like, yeah, he's very good. He's great, but is he adding very much to the World Heavyweight Championship right now? And also, if looking again to Crown Jewel, I think if you have Punk in that big match, I think that's another fun thing that you can do if it's Punk versus Cena again or Punk versus Cody. Either way, I think Gunther versus Cena would be fun too. But I think that I think Punk might be able to take this one. And also, even if there's not a cash in tonight, it then makes Seth cashing in on Punk a bit more impactful later on, when he's eventually back, assuming Punk holds it for, a foreseeable future.
Yeah. I am actually predicting a cash in, but I'm predicting a failed cash in. And I'm predicting Punk walks away with the championship. I think actually the match is going to be great. And then Seth's going to come in. Maybe somehow Gunther is going to like maybe all of Seth's boys, they take out Punk and they think Gunther's out, and then it becomes a triple threat match, but somehow Gunther comes back, this and that, and eventually it ends up with Punk pinning Seth and winning the championship. So that also that gives Punk the championship for Crown Jewel. That also means that he didn't actually beat Gunther. So I think this is actually the beginning of maybe a trilogy of matches between Punk and Gunther, where they can build, where Punk is now the champion, but he didn't actually beat Gunther, so they can have maybe two more matches, something like that, like a mini feud, and then Punk goes on with the champion versus champion thing. And Seth is still going to be mad. Maybe he's going to somehow, I don't know, try and maybe have a match with Punk for the title. We'll see. Or maybe he really is sort of injured and he's just going to come back for a failed cash in and then be out for a while, then he'll be feuding in his faction or something. But yeah, I think that Punk is going to win.
So do you think he's injured for real then, or not?
I think he was a little bit injured. I think the theory is they staged that injury on Saturday night's main event to cover for a real injury. I think he's injured, but he's not as injured as, like, he can still do like a run in or something. He can still do something like that, but he's not like he's not as injured as they say. They're giving him some time, and he's going to come back and do this one little thing, and then I guess he'll be out for a while again. That's what I think is going to happen.
The cash in could also be like he doesn't even actually get the cash in, kind of like what happened with when it was Punk versus Cena last time. There's all sorts of variables that can happen with.
But you're right. But I like the idea of Punk winning the title, but winning it by pinning Seth instead of Gunther.
It's definitely an option.
That also protects Gunther, and that keeps Gunther alive for maybe a little mini feud with Punk, and then he moves on to something else. Punk moves on to something else. I also think Gunther maybe is going to be the one who retires Cena in the end. But that's we're looking forward to December now. Okay, so that's night one.
Gunther is becoming the new legend killer, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess Punk is a legend, so killing him. No, but I think Punk is not he's not like the retired legend yet. He's still active. So let's see here. Going on to night two. Okay, where do we start? Okay, let's start right with the ladder match. You want to start with the ladder match, the TLC match? We got the Wyatt Six, Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy versus Andrade and Rey Fenix versus DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa versus Fraxium, Axiom and Nathan Fraser versus the Motor City Machine Guns, of course, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. You go on this one.
What is so crazy about night two is that there's 6 matches and 5 are technically no DQ. In Steel Cage is still like no DQ, and Triple Threat is no DQ, and TLC obviously is no. It's pretty wild. For this one, I think I'm just gonna go with Motor City Machine Guns. Honestly, I think they are the team that I personally think that would be more ideal to winning this thing. The tag team division, I think what needs to happen just in the division in general is I think they need to unify those championships again in some capacity. Maybe we do that down the road. But for this one, I think I'm just going to go with Motor City Machine Guns personally.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is they unify, or maybe they just do a draft and they put some of the better teams on Raw. I'm gonna be honest with this match. I was excited to see this match. I knew they were gonna set up something like this, but I was really hoping that it was gonna be set up for the SmackDown after SummerSlam, like they did at the Raw after, like at the SmackDown after Mania, because I happen to have tickets for the SmackDown after SummerSlam. But no, it makes more sense. This is gonna be on SummerSlam. This is gonna be a wild match. I mean, I could see Motor City. I could see any of these teams really winning it. I think this is a match also to have Rey Fenix in the ladder match, because that's got to be interesting. But I think the Wyatts are going to retain. I think they're going to keep this. They're going to keep the championships for a bit longer. They're not going to keep it for half a year, but I think they're going to retain, and somehow it's going to set up instead of feuding with the entire division, it's going to set up a feud between the Wyatts and one other team, and also set up a feud between 2 of the other teams, like the MCMG, or maybe MCMG and DIY is going to reignite their feud. That's what you need for a division, though. I think the SmackDown tag division is going great, but you really need different feuds, not just everybody feuding for the same championship. Right? I don't know if you agree, but that's sort of how I see that one. Okay, so you're picking MCMG. And I'm picking the Wyatts retaining. Okay. Which one are we going to do first? Okay, for the Intercontinental Championship, the champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, defends against challenger AJ Styles. I think Dom is going to retain by a hell of a lot of interference from other people, because you notice the other, Finn and JD, they don't have matches on this card, and the women's tag matches the night. So all of Judgment Day can come down and cheat. Dom's going to win by cheating, only to have a rematch at Clash in Paris, just because I think they want the crowd to sing for AJ Styles in the match against Dom. But I think Dom's going to retain at SummerSlam.
I think Dom's going to retain as well. I think he's super over right now. I think he's gonna go really far. I think he's super popular. Yeah, I think Styles doesn't need this. W at all. I think it helps Dom more. Maybe honestly, even a clean win even would be like amazing. But I think you are right about some interference for sure.
Yeah, he can maybe have a clean win in Paris, or AJ can take it then. But yeah, I've been really like, I never thought AJ Styles was a good comedy performer until he became one. Like I was like he was great in ring, decent, like solid, serious character. But like the bits he's been doing with Dom over the past few weeks on Raw have just been amazing. And I'm really looking forward to this match. And yeah, I think Dom's going to retain too. Okay, so the other one, I don't even have to look at it. In a steel cage for the United States Championship, the champion Solo Sikoa defends against challenger and former champion Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Solo on this one. I think I'm probably like one of the few people in the world who actually really likes this guy. I think he's funny. I think he's a fun worker. I think there's a lot of good things about him. The United States Championship, I think Jacob at some point can just go ahead and just challenge for like a higher belt. I think him versus Gunther would actually be insanely good.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're going to see some interference going down. I don't think Solo's going to win this one clean. I think we're going to lead to like a more feuds down the line with that too. But yeah, I think Solo is gonna take this one and just continue to keep the reign going.
Yeah, well, I'm going to differ with you on this one. And my theory, I already told you this before recording, but it's not my original idea, but somebody, I can't remember where I heard it. Somebody reminded up the end of St. Valentine's Day Massacre, where Paul White, who became the Big Show, debuted by coming up through the ring and threw Steve Austin so hard through the cage and ended up giving Austin the victory because the cage broke and Austin's feet hit the floor.
Oh, with McMahon.
Against McMahon. He was working for McMahon, but he screwed up and he threw Austin too far through the floor. I don't think they're going to have to come up through the cage. It's a cage. You can just go over it. But I think the interference is going to get into the cage, and Talatonga is going to whip Jacob so hard because Jacob's big and Talatonga very strong. The cage is going to break. Jacob's going to hit the floor, win the United States Championship. I think he might lose it back, and I do think he's going to be going for a bigger belt at Mania, but I think he's going to keep it almost until then, at least once he wins it back. I was really surprised that Solo got the belt, but you know what? I've been liking Solo. I think Solo was miscast as Roman's henchman. He's better in this sort of comedic, sort of dickish character. Like he's funny. I didn't realize that before. He's sarcastic, and also I find it funny that in storyline is a completely staged accident that didn't really happen. In storyline, that accident didn't really happen, but somehow Tonga Loa still got injured. There was Tonga Loa. Okay. Moving along, let's see here. Okay. For the Women's Intercontinental Championship, the champion Becky Lynch defends against challenger Lyra Valkyria. Now, I'm loving these two, and even the Bayley involvement too. This is like slowly becoming a potential candidate for feud of the year. I love their previous match. Their matches are always excellent. This one's a street fight. So no DQs. Also, if Lyra loses, she can never challenge Becky for this belt again, as long as Becky's champion. Seeing as I think this was a title designed to make, I think Lyra's going to win it back. I'm just looking forward to I've never seen Lyra in like a street fight type setting, and this particular feud doesn't really need that. I think Bayley's going to come down and maybe try to cheat or something, and maybe turn heel. But I think Lyra is going to prevail. I love Becky as a heel, but she doesn't need to be a champion to be that character.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think there are some rumblings about maybe going to have like a draft very soon. So even if Lynch were to win, you could just move her or move somebody else to the other brand. But I do think, I think probably getting some interference is probably going to go down. Depends on how long they want to keep this feud going, because that stipulation kind of throws a bit of a wrench into things. But typically, and in those kind of situations, you do see the challenger. I think historically, that's typically been a sign the challenger does win. But I will say Akira, just because I think then you can continue that feud going on.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't continue it if Becky wins. So there's only 2 more matches. Okay, for the Women's World Championship, the champion Naomi defends against challengers Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a triple threat. I think you already kind of gave away who you think is going to win this one, but so take this one.
Yeah, I do think it's Rhea. I wouldn't be surprised if Io Sky won either. I just think if you're going to have Jade win, I do think Rhea versus Jade is a much more, interesting kind of matchup. And I believe it's the winner of this one faces Stephanie in Paris.
In Paris, yeah.
So it's interesting, because when you think about that, it's like, hey, what is a more interesting match then for Paris? And I think Io or Rhea is better than Naomi in that regard. So there's other aspects to consider for this one as well. See, a lot of people think that Rhea is better just chasing a belt than holding it, but I do think she's been chasing now for quite a while since she lost it originally. So I think she might be due. Obviously, she's super over. Then you can have her continue to feud with Naomi, and of course she has to eventually beat Io, down the line, right? So I think you could probably give it to Rhea on this one.
Okay, well, I mean, I think Rhea definitely deserved to win in Evolution, but then there was the cash in. I was sort of thinking also too, like SummerSlam. Rhea had some very bad luck last year at SummerSlam, so winning it back this year is valid, but I can't see them. I think this run of Naomi with the championship, I think it's got to last at least 1 PLE. So I think somehow, because of the triple threat, I think because Rhea and Io have that strong rivalry right now, I think they're going to somehow take each other out, and it's going to be Naomi. Naomi's going to retain. I think Rhea is going. I mean, the only way Rhea would win, by the way, is by pinning Naomi, not Io, because she still has not beaten Io. I think they're going to keep that going for a while. The fact she's never beaten Io Sky, but I think Naomi's going to retain. Rhea will be a champion, either possibly before, most likely before Australia. She's definitely going to be a prominent part of the Australia card, but of the Crown Jewel card. But I think right here Naomi is retaining. Okay, so then we have our main event. For the undisputed WWE Championship, the champion John Cena defends against challenger Cody Rhodes. I think if Cena retains here, people are going to riot. Now, not riot, but on one hand, I was thinking maybe Cena might retain just to really annoy anybody. When is this over? But I think because I think there's going to be a lot of interference because it's a street fight, and maybe even maybe this might be where Rock interferes or something like that. It's a street fight, so there's no DQs. There's going to be a bunch of run-ins, and I think maybe Cody is going to win, but I think this is going to set up Cena's turn back to a babyface. It's going to start that in motion, maybe with The Rock interfering or something like that and screwing over Cena because Cena wasn't living up to something like that. But I do think Cody's going to retain. What about you?
Could you imagine if Travis Scott's music starts playing?
No.
The reaction in that building, it would be so funny. No, it's obviously.
He was supposed to be in a match with helping out Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, if you believe if you see in Unreal. That was the original plan for him. Not involved with The Rock, not screwing over Cody Rhodes, but he was helping babyface Rey Mysterio in the match against Chad Gable. That was the original plan, by the
way. I think if Cody is going to turn heel, this would be a good time to do it. But it's weird to have The Rock, interfere. I mean, unless they really want to do, down the line this, just get Cody Rock over with. The problem with The Rock now is that obviously you still want to do that Rock Roman match, but then it's kind of Cody versus Rock makes sense as well. So it's how are we going to work this in there? I don't know. The Rock is just a weird, element in general.
Yeah. Do you think Cody's going to win? If he turns heel, do you think he's or if he doesn't, do you think he's going to?
I think if Cody turns heel, he wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Cena retains. Truthfully, though, it just, at that point for Cena, though, it's where do you take him from there? Right,
well, you take him to Montreal, hopefully, and I can have I can sing John Cena sucks at the show that I'm at. That's the one upside of Cena retaining, because he's going to brag about it on SmackDown. But yeah, but also if Cody wins, this will be the second time in a row that he's come to Montreal just having won that exact championship.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I think we're going to get a spot with the belt again. I think we're going to get maybe another potential low blow. Because we kind of saw a little bit, the face elements of the face turn begin with the Punk match, and then, I think we're going to have something similar happen here. It's also interesting. I don't think Cena's actually kicked out of Crossroads yet, which is very, very odd to me. Even in the Mania match, Cody won, and then Cena was down for 30 seconds, whatever, and then we had Travis Scott come down or whatever. I think this is going to be a better match, though. I think the street fight element adds something to this, because it's hey, what there's going to be interference in some regard, right? Or there's going to be some crazy spot, someone's going through a table, etc. I think there's lots of stuff that could go down here. No Seth business here. I think Seth's going to stay away from that. I think the Punk situation is where that would happen potentially. If it happens here, it's actually a bit more surprising, maybe. So there's also that.
Okay. Yeah. No. Do you think Cena is going to keep the title all the way until his retirement? Do you think he's going to drop it on his last day?
It depends if they want to have him in a big one final match against somebody, maybe another Orton or something like that, or if they want to just have him, or hell, even go for the title again on that his final performance. So I can very easily see Cody winning this one, and maybe they have his last match could even be against Cody potentially.
You could see, yeah. So, but for this one, you're picking with Cena retains.
I'm gonna go Cody with it, just because in the event they do a trilogy, I think you do you want to have them at 1-1. So I think a trilogy might be the best call. I'm gonna say Cody on this one.
Perfect. Okay, so that's our predictions for SummerSlam 2025, the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. Also, there's rumblings that maybe Chelsea Green might have some involvement with Cardi B, who's the host of SummerSlam. That's a way to get Chelsea Green on the card. The match against Cardi B. You think that's going to happen?
Well, better her than Travis Scott, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Chelsea Green. Actually, I would like to see Chelsea Green versus Travis Scott. I think she'd probably win. Okay, so thank you very much, Mike. I will catch you the next time. And make sure you have people. Anywhere people can follow you?
You can follow me on X. It's at the Gwilliam. You could also find my articles on Dexerto.com.
Okay, and you can follow me at Jason C. McLean on Facebook and Instagram. Also, I've created X and Instagram at Jason C. McLean, at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X. And also I have started one. I don't really update it that much, but jasoncmclean.bsky.social on Bluesky. And Silo Voice for Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube, and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast for Silo Voice Studios in Montreal. For Mike Gwilliam, I'm Jason C. McLean. Catch you next time.